Hi, welcome to Get Known, Be Seen Web TV. I'm your host, Trish Springsteen, and it's my absolute delight to bring to you our special guest for this show, Julie McDonald OAM. Welcome, Julie. Delighted to have you here.
Thanks so much, Trish. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, awesome. I am so looking forward to this interview, people. We're going to see where Julie has been, where she's come from, a little bit about her story, and some of the things she's going to share with us about how to get known, be seen. So before we go into our great conversation, let's just have a little bit of a background on who Julie McDonald is. Julie McDonald is an Olympic and Commonwealth Games swimmer, winning medals for Australia at both of those games. Julie held the Commonwealth record for the 800-metre freestyle for 21 years and still holds one of the top 6 times an Australian has ever produced. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Some 33 years after setting her initial record. Now that's setting a record, people, and keeping it. I love it. Julie was the only Australian female to win an Olympic medal in the 1988 Seoul Olympics, winning a bronze medal in the 800 metres freestyle. Julie runs a successful speaking and coaching business, helping people tap into their vision and mission in life and helping them achieve their greatest goals in life. There is nothing more, I think, rewarding than trying to help people to be who they want to be. So welcome, Julie.
Thanks so much, Trish. It's great to be here. Hi, everybody.
Honestly, if we go into your story, I think we'll be here for about 3 months, maybe. Maybe and since we only have a short period of time and we don't want people to go and die, although I don't think they will.
No, I'm too interesting for that.
Absolutely. So we better keep it to the top high points, I think. Just
okay,
so
we will.
Because we do need to eat. We do need to sleep. So although that's pretty overrated, I think we can speak with Julie. It's overrated. So let's have a couple of conversations. Firstly, about what the resilience, the testing, the confidence needed as a young person to get to Olympic Games. Just a couple of challenges, not a huge, because I know, again, that's a whole freaking interview in its own, but just want to get a little bit, because that's sort of the making of Julie.
Yeah, I think, for me, I started swimming. I grew up at Rochdale on the south side of Brisbane, and I had an older brother, and Mum and Dad used to take us down the Gold Coast a lot. So she wanted us to be strong swimmers. So we went to the local pool to learn how to swim. And firstly, my brother was learning to swim, of course, being a bit older than me. And when I got in the water, I just loved it. I funnily enough, the closest pool to us was at Springwood. And the coach that was there at the time was Laurie Lawrence. Now, most people are going to know who Laurie Lawrence is. And if you haven't, you need to Google him.
Yeah.
And you'll find out that he's a lunatic, right? And he was the best lunatic for me, because I wasn't the world's, I wasn't the club's best swimmer. I was, it was that I just fell in love with the sport. And I found out that I was super competitive and I loved to race. So it was one of those things that I found the right sport at the right time, but prior to that, I wanted to be a jockey, right? So we had horses in our back paddock and I fell in love with horses. I still have a love of horses. And my natural thing was, I'm going to be a jockey, and Dad, by the time I was 10, Dad said, sweetheart, you're too big to be a jockey. And I was shattered. Lucky I had swimming to fall back on. So it's sort of, I think once you find, when I'm working with people, it's finding their passion and their purpose. If I look back on my swimming career, for me, it became a passion. And so it was easy to do something when it's your passion, and you build up that resilience through mentoring, like Laurie mentoring us, or watching the other swimmers, like John Seaman. He won a gold medal in 1984 Olympics. And it was, that moment that I said, I want to go to the next Olympic Games. And, you see how hard they train. Mm-hmm. And so then you have a great expectation of, well, that's how hard I've got to train to be as good as what they were. So, you build that resilience over time. And also I think it's a natural, for me, I think it was a bit of a natural thing, because, I would get third at a lot of the times, and fourth and fifth and sixth. And it wasn't until I was 14 that I won my first state title. And I was competing against, kids that have been winning state titles since they were 8 years old, and I think, in the book, The 1,000 Ripple Effect, I talk about how I'd get into the marshalling area and the girls would say to me, "What's your best time?" And at the time I was a 200 backstroker, and I would say 2:24. And then crazily, I was asked them what their best time was, right? And they would just go 2:20. And I'd go, "Oh." And subconsciously or consciously, who knows, I just thought, well, I should be about 4 seconds behind them. And so even if they swam 2:30, I swam 4 seconds behind them, and it took some time to work that out. And once I did, I never asked again, because it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what their time was. It was that first experience of, I need to concentrate on myself and my own race. And I think that's a great lesson for young athletes out there, and everybody really. Just concentrate on yourself, stay in your own lane, and focus on yourself, on what you want to achieve. So that was sort of, and it was funny because when I was 14 and I beat them, they quit. Right? They'd been swimming since they were 4 and they quit. So it's really, for me, that was a great lesson of just focus on yourself and your own dreams and desires.
I think that's awesome. It's like, people stop, rewind, and just listen to what Joy just said, because that is a complete gold nugget. You may not want to be swimming. Don't worry about that. But what she's taken out of that is for your business, because how often we start our business, we watch the competition, we watch our competitors, watch people who are doing the same thing, and we're so busy, oh my God, look what they're doing, I can't do as well. Or we see all those lovely Facebook posts up there, oh, they're making 7 figures, they're making 6 figures, I can't do it. And we are psyching ourselves out, exactly like what Julie's saying. If you concentrate just on your business, on your passion, you're going to be doing things you didn't realize. So, well, thank you so much for sharing that, because it is a gold nugget, and it's something we all do, don't we? We self-sabotage all the time.
Yeah, we're good at it.
Oh, very good at it. I know.
Even I can be good at it still today,
It creeps up on you, doesn't it, Julie?
Yeah.
It does. So what you do when that happens, you just think back to staying in your lane.
Yeah, just focus on what you want to achieve, because I'm a big believer in what we focus on gets bigger. So if you're focusing on a problem, then that becomes bigger, and it starts, can create anxiety, it can create confusion and overwhelm. And, like you said, you're focusing on someone else's business, or you're comparing yourself. Biggest mistake ever is compare yourself. We're all guilty of it. I've been guilty of it. And by focusing your attention over here, you're not focusing on where your business needs to be or what you need to improve in your business to be successful.
Brilliant. And agree. Oh, we've all done it. I know when I first started my business, I spent ages thinking, because, when I first, I'm a speaker coach, how many speaker coaches there are out there? And I'm thinking, what am I doing? I've got to work. Until I realized, hey, I'm unique. So what I do is completely different. No one else can do what I do. So I just focus on that. So awesome. Yeah. So let's just come forward. Okay, we've won the medals. We're getting older. What did you do next?
So after I finished my swimming career, it ended on a bit of a downer, actually, because in Barcelona, I'd gone in ranked in #1 in the world and expected to win a gold medal, because I knew I could beat all the girls that I was racing against. And unfortunately, I had septicemia that had resulted from an infected wisdom tooth 3 months earlier. So I didn't make finals, and I was pretty devastated, as you can imagine, because the Olympics only comes once every 4 years. I was 22 years of age at the time, which was fairly old for an athlete back then. And I came home early from the Olympics. I packed up and came home the next day and went on a holiday, and then thought, well, I need to get a job. And so every time I went to a function, I would collect business cards from people. And when I'd get out of that function, I would write on the back of that business card anything that we had spoken about, or anything that to remind me of our conversation. And then I put them into a folder, and I would do it alphabetically. So I pulled out that folder, and it was quite big, quite thick.
Yeah.
And I started ringing people saying, hey, we met at the, such and such conference. I've finished my swimming career now, and I'm looking for a career in business. Do you have any jobs available? And they would normally say, do you have any degrees? What's your qualifications? Now, I have a high school certificate. I didn't do any education after that. I did purely because I was swimming.
Yeah.
And so I got to the letter M before anyone said, we're starting a course tomorrow. If you can be here, you can come on board. Now, can you imagine, my self-esteem was already shot from coming back without the medal that I wanted at the Olympics. And then I had to go through probably over 100 phone calls to literally beg for a job, And so then after about 18 months, 2 years in that job, I then decided to make a comeback for swimming. So I quit that job, made a comeback. By that stage, I was married, had a mortgage. So I got a part-time job to help support while I swam. And then after I only gave myself 10 months to train for the Olympics, right? Because originally I'd come back for masters, because my husband said to me, hey, let's swim for masters. Let's get fit. Because had totally blown myself out. And he said, let's get fit for masters. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Because it was in Hawaii, right? I'm thinking this is awesome. It'll give me 8 months to train for Hawaii. That'll be fine. 2 months into my training, I thought, bugger masters, I'm going for the Olympics. So I went to a different coach and I said, Mr. Carew, I would love to train for the Olympics. He's looked me up and down. He said, Julie, you have 10 months. You're 18 kilos overweight. I don't think you can do it. I said, will you give me a shot? He said, I'll give you a shot. I lost the weight in 3 months. I started hitting really good swimming times about a month before the trials. So I was a little bit underdone, but I just thought, you know what, I'm a gutsy swimmer. I'm just going to go in and do the best I can. So I ended up getting third at the trials, which meant I missed out on Olympic spot. But I felt so different. Even though I got third and missed out, I thought, you know what, I can do anything I want to do, because if I just put my mind to it, And it was interesting because when I came back, I started getting people ringing me for a job. And they was like, hey, why don't you come and work for us? And for the next 4 different jobs I had, I got headhunted. I'd happen to be in a spot and they would go, hey, we'd love you to come work for us. So I went from fundraising for charities, event management. And then when I was in my early 30s, when I was about to hit 30, I decided to start up my speaking business. And so that was the first time I started working for myself. It was around the Sydney 2000 Olympics. And then in 2002, I had my son. So I went back to swim coaching so that I could be at home when he was born. And then after he was sort of about 5, I then went back into different careers, again, being headhunted for different things. And then towards the end, I got made redundant 3 times. And in the last 10 years, and I went, I'm out. Yeah. Corporate life's not for me. So, yeah, it was really different. And another lesson on how we feel about ourselves is what we attract. I was downtrodden after Barcelona. I was, really down on myself, no self-esteem, no self-worth. And then, begged for jobs. When I came back from the Atlanta trials, just felt like, hey, I can do anything if I just put my mind to it. And then just, kept getting headhunted. So that's people, you really have to believe in yourself. And, that whole you know what's interesting? I got given a statistic a little while ago, is that when men fill out job applications, they fill them out that how they're going to better the company by them being part of that company. When women fill out job applications, they are basically trying to justify their existence.
Absolutely.
So, you know, and I thought, wow, you know, and because I guess I had done that in the early days as well. And it was really interesting. So, you know, the women that are watching, I want you to think about how you add value to the next job that you're going to do. Or if you're applying for a raise, you know, next time you're going in to have a conversation with your boss, is that, you know, how you have added value to that business and how you've grown it. And if you feel that you haven't been doing that, then it's time you step up and start doing it. Because, you know, don't just go to a job just to be employed. Go to a job to make a difference and feel great about yourself, you know.
Brilliant. Nothing else, people. That is an absolute brilliant gold nugget. And what I would like to add to that statistic that you had is quite often what happens when people are going for a job, we've noticed between men and women, yeah, you've got all your criteria. Men will just think, oh, yes, I can do that, I can do that. And if there's some criteria they can't, I'll learn it, I'll do it. And they'll apply. Women will go through the criteria and I think, oh, you know, there might be 10 criteria and there'll be 2 that they can't do or 3. And I think, oh, I better not go for it because I don't have all the criteria.
Yep, so true.
That's it. And we self-sabotage as women. You know, the
Yep.
men will just think, oh, I'll find a way of doing it. I'll wing it. I can do it. Doesn't matter. I've got 6 of the criteria, so it doesn't matter if I don't have 4. And 4 women who think we've got 8 and I don't have 2. Oh, I better not apply. I think we need as women to get our minds out of that and around what is the value? Exactly what you've said, Julia. I love that. What is the value we can bring?
That's it.
Believe in ourselves. It's one of my mottos. One of my mottos is I believe in you until you believe in yourself, because really it is the foundation. As what Julie's just shared with us, I love the fact what Julie shared of you is the before and after. You've got when there's some issues, not fully believing, not sure, and that's what's happened, and she progressed. But when Julie absolutely owned who she was, the difference. And that is something we need to emulate, people who can see what happens there. Okay, you're now a personal development coach. How is that working? How are you reaching to people? What do you do, or what have you found that's worked for you to make it easy for your clients to find you, and what hasn't worked?
Well, it's interesting, Trish. Last year, you know, we had a bit of a situation happen in March, right on my birthday, actually. And all my speaking stopped, you know, all got cancelled. Now, in the last now I've had 2 bad relationships in my life that would be classified as domestic violence. And when I left the last one, my friend said to me, stop, you know, you need to start working on yourself, Julie, you know, and I was like, working on myself, you know, like, what do you mean by that? And, you know, I think I look back now, I attracted those people to my life, right? Because of the way I felt about myself, because my first marriage had broken down. And so I felt really down about that and embarrassed. And, you know, what are people going to say? She's a divorcee. You know, it was just really taboo, I felt. And so then I started doing a lot of personal development. And I just spent the next 4 years, you know, working on myself, wondering why had I attracted that into my life? You know, how do I change that? Always felt like I needed a man in my life, you know, and then realizing, oh, I don't really need a man, but I'd really like one, you know, really awesome one.
Need, like, a big difference.
That's it. Needs and wants, you know.
Yeah.
And then I when I was ready, I wrote out a list of 35 things that I wanted in a man, how he made me feel, how I made him feel. And 13 months later, I met the man of my dreams at my cousin's engagement party. And it was, and so months into our relationship, I thought, where's that list? So I went and I found it. And I'm going through going tick, like, yeah, tick, 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 right? And initially he ticked off 33 out of 35.
Pretty good.
And there was one that he loves my son, right? So in the first few months, that's not going to happen, right? So, but he put up a post yesterday, and it's going to make me cry. He put up a post yesterday on Facebook that it said his whole life he didn't want to have kids, but he's raised other people's kids, 6 of them, from 2 to 21, and how proud he was of my son and the man that he's becoming, he's 18. And I just thought, wow, and I knew that, probably about a year into our relationship, he, really, we ticked that off, that he loves Zach. And the last one he's never going to get, because he's not 6'3".
Oh, well, is he a bit shorter, is he?
He's a bit shorter.
No,
and I'm like, height versus all these other amazing things, right? So
you can always get a box and you can always get a rack and stretch him. It doesn't matter.
That's it. Platforms, right? Platforms. So that was a real eye-opener for me too, of how we feel about self, how we can develop ourselves into that, And so last year when COVID hit, all my speaking stopped, and a lot of his work had stopped as well. And we have a network marketing business that we work with that is really interesting, because a lot of my past beliefs and, hang-ups and stuff like that can surface with that, because a lot of people have had a bad experience with network marketing. And so we decided that we would do more personal development last year and teach it, because we want to change the way that people do network marketing. It's not about, here's my goo, you need it. It's about solving somebody's problem. And particularly with what we work with, it helps people's body heal itself. So it's not like you're going to put a lippy on and you're going to look pretty. This is totally something different, and you need education with it. So we're very passionate about helping people have a successful network marketing business, but doing it in a great way. So last year we started teaching basically that a lot of people have read Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
Right. And we've read it. We've done the workbook. We've done, Bob Proctor. We've done a lot of other stuff with that. And there was something missing. And we'd had success, but we didn't have that success that we were really dreaming about. And we thought, so we went searching for what is missing. Mm-hmm. And we found it. And so now I want to grab every teenager and I want to say to them, life is limitless. If you tap into your personal development and grow yourself with these key strategies, right? And it was amazing how different our year was last year. Like I understand people had a bad year in certain areas, right? And I asked them, if they say to me, I had a terrible year last year, I said, I want to know when that situation happened on the 14th of March, my birthday. We've got 2 days time, right? My birthday.
Absolutely.
My birthday. I'm a big celebrator of birthdays. Anyway.
I know I am too.
Not about me. So, except that day, that is all about me.
It is.
Right. So I said, what did you focus on when that hit? Did you watch TV? Did you watch the news? Did you read newspapers? And what were your thoughts? And so they're like, oh yeah, I was watching the news to keep up. And I said, okay, so if you're watching the news, I always say to people, I want you to do a check out of 10, how good you're feeling, how energetic you're feeling, how alive you feel before you watch news. Mm-hmm. And then if you are a news watcher, I want you to watch the news, and then I want you to rate yourself again.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee those numbers do not go up.
No.
Correct, right? So
this is crap.
correct. So they feed the fear. So people were feeding the fear last year. And what happened? More and more craziness happened. You know, we had a toilet paper, you know, because the news said, go buy toilet paper, you know, like, because we don't watch the news, right? Sasha and I go up to the shops one day because we went out more during COVID than we did normally, right? It was ridiculous. We would go up to the shops for our little outing every day. It was crazy. And we get up to the shops one day and there's people everywhere. And we're like, oh, manic buying, you know, what is going on?
I could
what have we missed?
Yeah, I still could not work that out. I remember thinking to my husband, what?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
It doesn't
It's
make
like
any sense.
we get a long weekend, everyone panics, you know, like we haven't got enough food to feed ourselves, seriously.
Yeah.
So then we go up there, there's no toilet paper, and we're like, what is going on? And so then about a week in, I said to Sasha, because we don't eat rice, we don't eat pasta, we don't eat carbs, right? And I said to Sasha, maybe we should buy some rice. Maybe we should buy some pasta in case the shops do shut down. And we might have to live on rice and beans, like, because we grow some of our own veggies and things like that. It's like, well, maybe we have to do that, you know, we're going to have eggs, no worries, because Sasha's mum's got 30 chickens, you know, and we can just do, you know, we'll make it up. So we bought rice, we bought pasta. And for the first couple of weeks, we're eating this pasta. And we're like, what are we doing? The rice is still sitting in the cupboard. We never got to eat that, but it was crazy. And it was like, hang on a minute, we're going down that wrong path. So, you know, I love teaching people on, you know, how to stay on the right path and how to develop that into everyday thinking so that they can lead the life that they dream of. And don't put limits. We are always putting limits on ourselves, you know, and we've got to stop doing that. You know, and I know it's not for everybody. I know that not everybody wants to lead an amazing life or they've not thought about it. But how many of you that are watching today, how many of you have dreams and how many of you think about your dreams every day?
That's it.
People have forgotten how to dream.
Absolutely.
You know, and so that's what I love to help people do, reconnect with that, you know, go back to when I was a kid, right, I used to dream that I could fly. Every night I dreamt that I could fly. And if I did breaststroke, I could go higher. But if I just did backstroke, I could just cruise around in the air. Right?
Awesome.
I believed that I could fly so much that I climbed up on mum and dad's tank stand and I was ready to jump and test the theory, right? Just as I'm about to launch myself, you know, and I guess the tank stand was probably about maybe 2 meters high. So not massive. If I had have jumped, I would have maybe just hurt myself a little bit. As Dad walks around the corner, what are you doing up there? You know, I'm about to fly, Dad. Get down. So I never got to test my theory, but you know, I look back on that now and I relate that to that feeling of flying is that I'm limitless.
That's right. It doesn't have to be literal. It doesn't have to be literal. What you're doing is when you're saying you're flying, you are letting yourself be limitless and taking outside the boundaries. It doesn't mean that you're actually flying, but you are allowing yourself to be anything you want.
That's it.
And you can see that through what you did because you went to the Olympics, your story's been through there and where you are now.
Yeah.
Obviously comes back from that idea of there's no boundaries.
Yeah.
I can do what I want to. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. We could speak for ages, actually.
I know. There's solvable problems here.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've always, the people I worked with, my mentoring clients and that from last year, I've actually said, well, last year was really actually a good year in respects because those who've sort of come through, what it's taught you is that you might have been just doing business locally or nationally, but that year has taught you that you can actually go global and it's not that hard.
Yeah.
And that means you can take things everywhere. Everybody's at the time. Oh, my workshops, my corporate, my speaking dried up as well. But I went online, and I've done online summits. I've met people around the world that I might not normally have met.
Yeah.
Because we were confining ourselves. So it can be, there's a lot that, excuse me, a lot that didn't work, but there's a lot that did.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love what you're saying about the news too. It's like our mind actually, we not let our mind go. We can go where we want, but it can dictate where we're going. So I need to, unfortunately, I could speak a lot longer for this.
It's all good. It's all good.
You have something that you can share with people watching, and it'll.
Yeah. So if you feel stuck and you feel that you're probably not living your best self, I'd love to offer a 30-minute exploration session for the first 6 people that apply, and just see where that goes for you. Might be able to tap into something that you rediscover something that you've forgotten that you even had within you. I've got a website, McDonald OAM.com. And it's got my mobile number on there. Just give me a call and we can have a chat and organize a time to just see if that's going to work for you.
Awesome. And I'll have that link below here so you can see that as well. And also, so that's the best place to contact you, Julie. Just
just on my mobile. Like, I am on Facebook. It's pretty easy to find. I whack the OAM on the end, so it's Julie McDonald OAM on Facebook. I've got a page as well as a profile. Better to contact me through the profile. A bit slack on the old page. It's what was I going to say? It's funny because I got my OAM in 2006 and I didn't start using it until about 2014. And
what was the barrier to that?
I don't know. It was like one of those, am I good enough things, that, we still think that I still,
we all have that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Hello. And my son said to me, you know what, Mum, you should be using that. And I thought, yeah, should, hey, and I think maybe I just sort of thought that there were people that were more worthy of the OAM, or and that was I as worthy as they were, but for what I sort of. And then in 2016, I think after Rio, I think all the swimmers all the athletes got given OAMs if they won medals, and I was sort of like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I should use that, because for mine it was the drug education movement that I did for the Australian Olympic Committee. I did drug education for athletes and fundraising for charities, and a lot of community work. So it was sort of that. Then I thought, you know what, that is worthy.
It is.
It is worthy.
Honestly, we are our own worst enemies, and we never see ourselves as others do. I was really privileged a couple of years ago to win an award for Influential Woman Award in a business award ceremony. And it took me a long while to actually own that, because exactly as you say, I was up against people who were doing a lot of domestic violence and doing also, I thought was freaking awesome stuff. And I thought, well, who am I to be influential? These people should be getting it. Until I realized, and I share this a lot now, it's because who am I to negate that someone thought I was influential? That is extremely rude and arrogant to try and say someone you're wrong in your thinking. I needed to accept that if someone thought I was good enough to get that, and then someone also thought they gave it to me, then I have to accept graciously. And I think it's something we as Australians don't do. We have this tall poppy syndrome. We also, especially as women, never actually realizing we're always being very, oh, this is nothing, that was nothing. I'm sorry, you did something, you accept it. If someone thinks you're worthy of it, accept it. So I'm glad you finally got around to using it. It's all about repurposing or leveraging, which are my 2 favorite words. And you've been awarded it. Someone thought you were worth it, so you need to put it out there. So I'm glad to see that. I think that's that's an awesome thing that we can take away for viewers, that story that Julie just shared is a really thing for you to be aware of, that you should accept what people have given you.
Yeah.
And you
open to receive.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing to tell people now. Be open to receive. If I give something, or I do something for somebody and they're like, no, I said, be open to receive, because that was my biggest thing I had to learn, that I'm a giver. And, when I got with my partner, Sasha, he's a giver. So we're both giving and none of us were receiving. We're like, it's crazy. It's like, be open to receive. And so now we're open to receive.
Awesome. And that leads me, I guess, to top 2 tips that you would like to share for people to step up and be seen. What's the top 2 things you can think we'd like to share?
I guess it's believe in who you are and never discount yourself. Always back yourself, probably is a better way. Always back yourself. Because like, as we talked about before, if you go into anything in life and go, oh, I'm not sure I can do it, then you've already written yourself off. Whereas if you go in there and go, I'm going to give it a go and I've got this, it's probably one of the best sayings that people can say to themselves, I've got this, until they start that real belief, then they can get it, because there's someone else that thinks that they can get it. Why not you?
That's right. Why not you? Absolutely. Why not you? Awesome. Thank you so much, Julie, for being
here
today. Absolutely enjoyed our conversation. As I thought, we could have gone a lot longer. Another time.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for giving up your time to be here.
It's my pleasure. Have a great day.
Thank you. People, you've been watching Get Known, Be Seen Web TV. We've had an absolutely awesome conversation with Julie McDonald OAM. Julie has shared some brilliant, what I call gold nuggets. You need to go back and review this. And I would suggest this is one of those interviews. I mean, all my interviews that I do with my clients and guests need to be looked at over and over. But this is one where you can go back again and stop, rewind, have a look at some of those gold nuggets. Especially I like concentrate on yourself and give yourself this, and I got this. I think those are great things to come out of here. And my favorite words, believing in yourself. It is the foundation of everything you do. And that's, if you listen to this and you watch what Julie has shared, that is where it's come from. Now, Get Known, Be Seen Web TV, I have guests on here who are ready to step up and share their message. So shine out, they've got a message, a book, an app, a product, a business that they want to talk about. And this is their opportunity. So if that is you, please contact me, my contacts below, and come in and be a guest on my show. I also have guests who are experts in being known and being seen, and they come and share their techniques, their strategies, their tips. Absolutely love to have you. Again, contact me. I'm Trish Springsteen. I'm Australia's leading expert in empowering introverts. I'm a multi-international award-winning mentor. I'm an international award-winning best-selling author. Most specifically, I'm here as your host for Get Known, Be Seen Web TV. If you'd like me to be a guest on your show, or if you would like me to speak on your stage, face-to-face or online, again, you can contact me and I'd be delighted to come and share my message with you. Thank you for watching. Until next time, believe in yourself, be focused, and as Julie said, stay in your own lane. Bye.